He's there. You there, Crockett?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep. Board Member Allen is absent. Board Member Boyle.
I'm here.
Vice Chair Villanueva Salcedo.
Here.
Chair Sarkisian here. As part of today's agenda, we have a consent agenda. It will be read into the record and acted on in a motion. They will not be discussed individually. And Board Member Ayers will be reading the consent agenda. We are pulling item 3A from the agenda, so you are aware. Board Member Ayers.
Thank you. Items to be in the consent agenda today. Item 2A, minutes from the March 23rd, 2022 study session and regular meeting. Item 3B, ZON 21-00958, District 6 within the 7700 to 7900 block of East Elliott Road, located east of Sossaman Road on the south side of Elliott Road. Site plan review. This request will allow for multiple residence development. Staff recommendation is approval with conditions. Item 4A, ZON 22-0051, District 4. Within the 1600 block of South Stapley Drive, east side, located on the southeast corner of Stapley Drive and US 60 Superstition Freeway. Site plan review. This request will allow for the development of a restaurant. This has been, is this the one I got pushed, guys? Yeah, this is continued to April 27th, 2022 meeting. Excuse me. Item 5A, Tyler Ranch for Pioneer Crossing within the 3700 to 3800 blocks of North Val Vista Drive, east side, located north of 202 Red Mountain Freeway on the east side of Val Vista Drive. This is a preliminary plat, and staff recommendation is approval with conditions. I'm sorry, let me read. I was trying to read this at the same time. Additional condition for this as well is the shared use path shall be paved in accordance with section 216.13 of the city's engineering standards. Is that good? And this is the consent agenda for today.
All right, thank you. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll say. Here.
All right, seconded, and I'll please vote. And Board Member Crockett?
Yeah, Madam Chair, I vote aye, but I did have a question for you. Did item 3A get pulled from the?
Yes, yes it did.
Is that going to be discussed in the hearing?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Motion passes with Board Member Allen absent. All right, moving on, going back to item 3A. Item 3A, ZON 21-00723 in District 4 within the 0 to 200 block of West 9th Place, located south of Brown Road and east of Country Club Drive. Site plan review to allow for multiple residence development. And I have a staff planner, Sean, will be doing a presentation.
Good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the board. This is case ZON 21-00723. The request before you is site plan review, and this is to allow for the development of 16 multiple residence units. The location of the property is on the south side of West 9th Place, east of Country Club Drive and south of Brown Road, as shown on the vicinity map. This is a site photo looking south from West 9th Place. You can see the existing single residence on the property. The zoning for the site is multiple residence 2, RM2, and this use is permitted in the RM2 district. There's existing multiple residence to the north, existing single residence on the east and west side, and then a single residence development that's also within a historic overlay to the south. The character area designation for the property is neighborhood, and per the plan, the intent of the neighborhood character area is to provide safe place for people to live, and includes a variety of housing types and references multiple residents in that plan. It also prescribes a density range between 2 and 12 dwelling units per acre, and the proposed density for this development is 12.3. So it's slightly over, but still conforms to the intent of that plan. So this is a copy of the site plan. There's 4 two-story buildings, 16 units total. primary access from a proposed driveway in the northeast corner of the site. 34 parking stalls required per code. 34 parking stalls required, 16 of which need to be covered. The applicant's proposing 34 stalls and then 28 covered spaces, and that's via attached garages, and then 6 uncovered on the east side of the site. There's pedestrian circulation from each unit to the street and to a perimeter sidewalk, and that also connects to the parking areas on the east side. Overall, the landscape design complies with the requirements set forth in Chapter 33 of the Mesa zoning ordinance. The landscape yards meet the required width and tree shrub quantities, and foundation bases provided along all buildings. So design review is not required per section 1171-2 because of the proposed density being under the specified amount for RM2. So the elevations comply with all requirements for building and design in section 1155B, including massing and scale, building entrances, covered building entrances, materials, and then adequate circulation and parking. So this is Plan 2. You can see a mixture of stucco and lap siding, and the same for Plan 3. So a letter was mailed to all property owners within 1,000 feet, HOAs and registered neighborhoods within 1 mile, and a virtual neighborhood meeting was held on February 2nd with 5 households in attendance. Concerns from the residents were related to parking, disrupting irrigation, driveway removal, and then quality of the housing. And the citizen participation report documents those concerns and also provides responses from Mr. Gillespie. Mesa Public Schools provided an analysis, and as you can see, there is adequate capacity to serve all the surrounding schools, including Eisenhower Center for Innovation, Carson Middle School, and Westwood High School. So in summary, staff finds the request complies with the 2040 Mesa General Plan and criteria in Chapter 69 for site plan review, including the planning and design standards. And our recommendation to you is approval with conditions.
Okay, thank you so much. Are there any board member comments or questions at this time for the staff member? Nope, okay, thank you. Is the applicant here, or do we just want to have some comment card questions? Is the applicant here?
Chair, members of the board, I believe the applicant's on Zoom or on the phone.
Okay. Did you want to state anything, or do you want to wait till?
Yes, hi, Chair Sarkeesian, this is John Gillespie. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, John Gillespie, 1744 South Val Vista, Mesa, Arizona. So I believe Mr. Jared Vidalis is actually in attendance today in person, and he's the developer of the project. Here at Pew and Lake, we helped with the neighborhood meeting and some of that interaction, but I would invite Jared to go ahead and come up if he has any comments. He's available to answer any questions.
Okay. I don't see anybody. I don't have anybody here. I don't have any questions. So, okay. Well, at this time, then we'll open it for public comments. So I'll bring up Rodney Haymore. If you want to come up to the podium and state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes.
I feel lost. I've never been to one of these things before. I don't know the procedure. My concerns are the
just,
SRP.
Just state your name and address first, so we have it for the record.
Rodney, R-O-D-N-E-Y, Haymore, Haymore, 47 West 9th Place,
Okay.
Mesa, Arizona, 85205.
Okay,
Anything else?
this is your comments.
Pardon?
You can start your comments.
Oh, my concerns have to do with the existing Salt River Project irrigation line that is parallel with 9th Place Street from their main wear box is located on the southwest corner of West 9th Place and Center Street. we need to make sure that that pipeline across these three property, 59 West, 10, let's see. Fif- 59 West, 101 West, 105 West, that be pipeline be put in there for a minimum of 20-inch diameter concrete pipe across that property and the driveways, so that the properties to the west of that, which would be 111, 119, and 127, will be able to get their irrigation water from SRP. That we feel that important that be installed and preserved.
Okay.
I haven't seen anything that has regard to is making sure that pipeline goes in.
Okay. Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
And Chair and Board, sorry, the applicant is now on Zoom if we have any questions for them.
Okay. We'll have them follow up after. The next one I have is Shanna Mayberry. Can you state your name and address for the record?
Shanna Mayberry, 47 West 9th Place, Mesa, Arizona, 85201. And want to give thanks to Sean and Jared and those who did the meeting via Zoom. But did want to, again, bring up the issues that I brought up on the Zoom meeting, and that is with regard to parking for the construction workers as they're doing the construction, where they're going to park, making sure they're not clogging the streets, and parking in front of our property, and then none of our guests have the ability to park. The other thing I brought up during the meeting was there's no place for the children to play. Currently, the children that are in the apartments across the street are playing in the street. And so one of my concerns is that there will be more children playing in the street. The other thing is Rodney mentioned the SRP ditch. We need to make sure that it's sturdy enough so that the trucks, as they're building and taking supplies across, will be able to continue to have water flowing and they won't damage the ditch. And then the additional parking is another concern I have. I understand it's all within code with regard to the parking spaces, but there's 16 units and only 6 extra spaces for their guests to park in. Each unit has a 2-car garage for their use, but there's only 6 extra spaces in the unit for other guests to park there. And then I understand, again, it's within code with regard to height, but the 2-story then does block the view to the west for those of us that live to the west of to the east of the property. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right. The applicant is online, so we had some questions then, if you could address some of those regarding the irrigation line that's existing.
Yes, Chair Sarkeesian, this is John Gillespie. So I just spoke with Jared Vidalis. He had a meeting run long, so he asked me to opine on this. Thank you, Ms. Mayberry and Mr. Haymore. Good to speak to you and to meet you, Mr. Haymore. With the SRP line, we've worked with staff on this, and the line is going to be underground, and service will not be disrupted for any of the neighbors. So no intent to cut off the irrigation services. This site won't take irrigation, but we will pass irrigation on down the line still. And then Ms. Mayberry's questions, which we did discuss at the neighborhood meeting, and we understand the concern about construction parking and to what degree we will have our construction workers park on site and avoid parking in the street. Children play area, we feel we have designed this site with some nice little nodes where gathering places near the buildings, interior to our site that we think can serve the population that's going to live here. And so we think our architects kind of address that in turning the buildings inside and creating some of those node areas. With the guest spaces, certainly note the concern. We did strive to meet the City of Mesa's standard and do hit that standard with this design. And then same thing with the building height. So we've had a good dialogue with several neighbors on this, and we definitely look to continue to have that dialogue with them and work through some of these issues that as we develop the site.
Okay, thank you. Do any board members have any comments at this time?
I guess I'm also a little concerned about the where the kids are going to play. I mean, usually there's at least a dog park or some sort of open space. I'm seeing the little nodes, but it just seems awfully small. I mean, it's a 16 unit, so it's not terribly big anyway, but I kind of see what the neighbor's saying, that's awfully, very limited amount of space to do anything.
Are there any other comments or questions? No. Any questions for staff? Okay. Well, I think we've discussed this issue with staff before on the parking issue. I think they're going to relook at it too, whereas what parking is required is what is provided internally, and also visitor parking. So it meets code. So that we're kind of hands tied with that, but we agree the code needs to be relooked at to ensure visitor parking is accommodated for, that's accessible to visitors and not just in the garages. In regards to the open space, they're meeting the code requirements as they are. So, and with the irrigation that is being still maintained and provided, and hopefully they maintain a good neighbor and provide construction parking on site. So, and this is for a site plan review. So if there's any other comments or questions, or do I have close the public hearing and open it for a motion?
Motion to approve item 3A, ZO121-00723, District 4, within the 0 to 200 blocks of West 9th Place South Side, located south of Brown Road and east of Country Club Drive, site plan review. Staff recommendation, this request will allow for multiple residence development. Staff recommendation is approval with conditions. I motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is everybody vote? Board Member Crockett?
Vote aye.
All right. So item passes with Board Member Allen absent. So with that concludes our agenda at this time. Are there any other comments or questions from the staff? Planning Director updates?
Chair Board, I don't have any updates.
Great. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
A second.
All in favor? Board Member Crockett?
Aye.
Hey, we heard you. All right. Motion passes. Thank you. Have a good day.